Class, welcome to week 9. Week 9 is going to take us through some of the more complex aspects of Google Ads in our relevance and quality score. We're really going to get into the weeds there. We'll talk about Project 3, which is a two-part project. First part is due this week, second part is due next week. And then we'll talk a little bit about Google Analytics. That's one of the most powerful tools you have in an online business. So we'll start with relevance and quality score. You may have already seen this in Google Ads, but Google will assign a quality score excuse me, to all of your ads. That tells you how well written it is, how effective the ad is going to be in Google's eyes. It's helpful not only from the standpoint of teaching you how to engage with your customers. That's helpful feedback. Google wants you to be successful, so they'll give you a quality score. It's actually more than that. And what Google does, you've already set a bid price or a budget for your ads. And what's happening on the background with all of Google Ads is that you have chosen certain keywords that you want to go after with your advertisements. And Google will take those keywords and then it'll match you up against everyone else that wants to advertise on those keywords. And it will do two things. It will measure, one, who's willing to pay the most, and that's one component to it. But two, who has the highest quality ad. And those who have a higher quality ad are not required to pay as much to win the bid. So you actually save a lot of money by getting a high quality score. I hope that makes sense to everybody. These articles will help you understand a little bit more of that. But essentially, to quote unquote win a bid and have your advertisement show up in Google Ads, Google is going to take into account your offering, the bid price, as well as your quality score. And so those two things together, and so it is possible for someone to beat you out that has a lower daily budget and so won't offer as much to advertise and yet has a higher quality score. So a great way to save money and make your advertising even more effective is with your quality score. So essentially the crux of this assignment, and I hope you take time to really understand the background on it, is to create a Word document and write a response to these two questions. If someone has a quality score of 4, what are 3 things that you would recommend they do to increase that? And then for each of those items listed, explain why you believe making those changes will increase the daily score. Please note that it needs to be at least 150 words. You'll have your discussion board on that topic. And then we'll jump into Project 3. As I mentioned, Project 3 is a two-part process. Project 3 is not as intense as Project 1 or 2. It is extremely important to the class, but not quite as time intensive. For this, Part 1, you need to create an ads campaign, create 1 ad group, 2 ads, and 10 keywords. A lot of that you've already worked on in your past assignments. There's a video that will walk you through it, and please note, do not run the campaign yet. It is not time to run it. Inevitably, I get a lot of questions on this, and this time in the semester say, do I start it? Should I kick off the campaign? Right now, you just create the campaign. Don't run the campaign. That will come in week 10. Week 10 is the week we actually run the ads campaign. Then our final topic this week is Google Analytics. And let me tell you why Google Analytics is such a powerful tool. Google Analytics will tell you everything that a visitor does on your website. It will tell you how they got to the website. It will tell you how much time they spent on each page. It will tell you which pages they went to in which order. And then it will tell you a lot about that person. Who are they? What demographics do they fall into? et cetera, et cetera. So Google Analytics is a very powerful tool. If you think about it in terms of a grocery store, grocery stores will pay millions of dollars for these studies every year that tell them where customers go first in their store, what they look at, how long they spend looking at certain items, and then they will actually set up the cost of shelf space based on where customers go. And so depending on whether or not a product is eye level or at a certain spot in the store, it's going to cost you more if you want your product in that store in that location than it will if you want it on a top shelf or a bottom shelf. So a brick and mortar store is going to pay millions of dollars for this information. You have it free of charge because of Google. Google Analytics is a tool that helps you understand your website and develop your business, which in turn helps Google further their business. And so the way this works is that you will set up a Google Analytics tracking code. This is similar to the PayPal button concept where you're developing a code snippet with HTML. You'll do the same thing with this, and so you'll generate that code snippet and then paste it into your website. Now, where you actually link the tracking code onto your website depends on who your host is, what site builder you're using. Site builders know this is very, very, very common, so most of them make it very obvious. If you're struggling on knowing where to paste this code or where to link the code on your website, reach out to your site builder or your host. They'll help you on this because it's slightly different for most site builders or for hosts, but it's very, very common. Then for the assignment, you'll create a Word document that has the following. Paste that tracking code and then explain where on your website you pasted the tracking code. And then really the power of this, and we'll get into this in future assignments, but you link Google Analytics and Google Ads, and that creates a very, very powerful combination. We'll do an assignment on return on investment that will teach you how to measure excuse me, down to the penny how much you're getting back from your Google Ads investment. So that link is really the hidden real benefit to this. Google Analytics is powerful no matter what, and we'll spend more time in later assignments on it. But when you link it to Google Ads, it's amazing really what you can develop. And then explain why you feel Google Analytics will help your web business be more successful. I've just spent 2 minutes pontificating on that, so there's a good platform to talk about why it will help you be more successful. And I will point out this final link here where it says link Google Analytics and Google Ads accounts. So that's important to be able to complete that third step. But we do want those two accounts linked for later assignments. That'll be it for week 9. So I hope week 8 was a chance to either catch up or do some extra work on your website, and you're ready to hit the ground running on week 9. We've got some exciting topics. Please reach out if you've got questions on either of those. Happy to go through those in more detail. Thanks, everyone.